Okay, I just want to talk briefly about how important it is to monitor your progress accurately. And let me just demonstrate this by showing you a very real example. I'm in a one-way street here in the direction of where that car's just gone. And where that chap's just come, that is a right turn. It's so cars can come out of there, and also cars can drive into there as well. So you notice that there are some white lines in front of me, directly in front of me, and then over the other side of that junction as well. And they are parking for the residents here in these houses to my right hand side. So if you were coming out of this road on this junction, this road on the right side, if you were coming out of there, if you were emerging, see where those cobbly stones are? That's normally where your giveways are, isn't it? Your giveaway lines, but there aren't any on that one. But if you can imagine, if there was there's very often there's cars parked in these white boxes where the residents park up, and you can see how close they go towards the junction. So very often when you come out of that, where you get to the cobbly stones, you cannot see a thing. Can't see a thing because of the parked cars. So your vision is very reduced. And the other day, one of my learners did this emerge, and she came to this bit. Because it's a one-way street, she has to go right, if you think about it. And so she came out of that emerge there and didn't take adequate observations. Her vision was very much reduced, and emerged right when there was a young lad approaching on the one-way street, on the major road, at speed towards my learner. So she emerges right, and he then does an overtake, an extremely dangerous manoeuvre, but nevertheless these things happen, don't they? And the fault lies with my learner, because what she hadn't done is recognise that her vision was very restricted, and she needed to do more peep and creep to open up her vision, and then she would have spotted matey boy who was screaming down this road at speed. And so in effect, if you think about it, what she was doing was she was allowing her driving is only as good as that young lad who was screaming down the road. So rather than being able to accommodate any bad driving, she was oblivious to it, oblivious to the prospect of the bad driving, if you see what I mean. So very big learning point, really. Massive learning point, in fact, I would say. You know, on test, that would fail your test without a shadow of a doubt. But more importantly, even if if that scenario didn't crop up on test, how hazardous would that be after you've passed your test, and you know you're looking at accidents, whether injury or certainly collisions, you know. So all in all, yeah, just that would definitely fail your test. So the point is, though, and this is the point of this video, is that when this happened, when this incident happened, we had a good old chinwag about what happened, We went back again, this circuit, and we did that again. And the important thing, the big learning point, was assessing that junction. Is just like what I've got on the roundabouts as well, which are junctions, the roundabout videos. We need to be assessing how tight they are, what our vision is like, how busy, and you know how much steering is involved. Just like the videos that I've got on the roundabouts, it's exactly the same. It is a junction, and it is that assessment that was letting her down, really, because she didn't recognise that the vision was so poor on that day. So the thing was, after we'd done all of that work, it turned out to be it was an hour and a half session, so she did an hour and 15 minutes worth of driving. When we're doing the debrief, she'd completely forgotten about that incident. Completely forgotten about what had happened. It was massive. It was a very big incident, and yet it had been completely forgotten about. And this is my point on my blog. I've done a recent blog, Learning to the Max, and on it talks about the importance of accurately monitoring your progress. This is a big deal, really. And if you go onto my website, there's an article there about how ready you are for the test. And one of the things is have you had, in the last 3 driving sessions, have you had either a serious or a dangerous driving fault occur? Because that's not what you need before going to test. That's not what you need, but it's an indicator that you are not ready for test. So, you know, it's a little bit like if you were to fail a test and then you don't do anything at all, and then you go for another test. How on earth has there been any learning going on? I mean, I'm not saying that it's really ideal to be learning from what goes on in a test. I'm not saying that for a second, but how on earth can you fail a test and then not do any further training whatsoever and go to test again? Not a great strategy, I would say, really. So this is the point I'm really trying to make, is that, you know, right from day one, I incorporate the use of a driver's pack so that the opportunity is given for you to monitor your progress. And for sure, this is one of the benefits of having a professional driving instructor, I will assist in making sure that that is done accurately. But there's tons of stuff available for my learners. Look at the videos on the test standard for the manoeuvres, for example. You know, there is, and I've got Google Plus page, and there's plenty of stuff there for you to be making sure you're aligning yourself. You know exactly what the test standard expectation is. And so, you know, they only have 38 minutes with you, the examiner. So there is absolutely no way in this world. I had a learner not so long ago who was surprised that the examiner was as picky as she was. Well, really? Surprised? I mean, they have 38 minutes with you to sort of assess your ability to drive on your own for the rest of your life. Yeah, they are going to be picky. They are going to be really, really picky. They are not going to allow incidents like that one there emerging out of there without taking the adequate observations and not assessing that your vision had gone down. They are not going to let that just go by. You know, this is really, really big stuff that I'm talking about here. And so I'm emphasising the fact that your monitoring of your ability is, you know, what actually happens has got to be accurately done. You've got to be honest with yourselves. You know, when you go onto that article on the website about am I test ready, there's no point in kidding yourself with this. You know, you're kidding no one. You're all right. You know, you might be fortunate and something like this doesn't crop up on your test, but forget about the test. Really, this is about what goes on after the test. We don't want there to be collisions and near misses after your test. So yeah. Get involved in all of this, because I'm bunging stuff up on this related to this subject. I'm bunging it up all the time on the stuff, and if you're not sort of like getting yourself aware of it, you're missing out really.